Massive Arizona Cardinal updates heading your way, and there's a lot of them. Let's get you caught up with everything you need to know about the Arizona Cardinals heading into Week 7 versus the Green Bay Packers. Let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into another video. Definitely do me a huge favor, smack up that like button and subscribe for more Arizona Cardinals content on this channel. We're covering the Arizona Cardinals news, breaking news, conversational pieces, everything surrounding your favorite team. So subscribe it up. It's absolutely for free. We are on the road to 19K now. Cannot do it without you guys, so I'd absolutely appreciate it if you just go and subscribe it up. All right, yo, let's go and get started. Let's go ahead and talk about all the updates that just came on the docket. The first one we're going to get started here is not a big shock, but per Josh Weinfels and Jonathan Gannon, head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, he ended up coming out and saying that tight end Travis Volkelneck, the guy that ended up getting hurt on a special teams play, and I believe it was on a kick return, he's done for the season with a neck injury. Very unfortunate. Prayers up to him. I believe what the Arizona Cardinals are going to be doing, because now they're just down to two tight ends. That's Trey McBride and Elijah Higgins. They are now going to elevate tight end Josiah DeGuara, a guy that was very familiar with the Green Bay Packers as well. So that is most likely going to be their number 3 tight end. I don't really know too much about him, I'm going to be real with you, but the Arizona Cardinals seem to be very confident to see what he could potentially do, being the fact that he's now going to be signed to their active roster. Let's go and talk about the big breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Hallelujah! We got Walter Nolen, the third 16th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. His practice window is now officially open today, and this is massive news all around for Arizona Cardinal fans. We've been dying to see what this kid can do out of Ole Miss. 16th overall pick to the Arizona Cardinals, and honestly, there's a lot of high expectations for him as a first-round pick. Now, I know that the Darius Robinson situation is not really turning out the way that we all want it to become, but still, we got a brand new, fresh look, another interior dog that could potentially be that focal point, right? That interior pressure that we've been longing for in a very, very long time. And Walter Nolen III could potentially be that guy. Now, the couple different ways this Arizona Cardinals regime has actually handled the whole injury situation. Now, Bilal Nichols is the closest one we've actually seen where he was they actually opened up his practice window, and then he missed the week, and then he ended up coming back the following week. Now, of course, he did not play this last week versus the Colts, so the whole Bilal Nichols thing, I think that's probably going to be over soon, right? Maybe this next year, Cardinals decide to kind of cut ties with them. I don't know, but Walter Nolen is what we're really trying to focus on. Now that we're seeing this, this open window actually happen, it's good news, right? I don't think he's going to be starting here in Week 7 if I'm going to put some money down, but maybe after the bye week, which is going to be our Monday Night Football game versus the Dallas Cowboys, we're probably going to realistically see Walter Nolen, because he's going to have this, time to practice. We're going to have the bye week, and then he's going to have more time to practice as well. And what Jonathan Gannon is saying is it seems like Walter Nolen is chopping at the bit to potentially come out here and, put it out on the field. We did see Walter Nolen in practice last week, but he wasn't street clothes. He was just basically observing and looking at the other guys out there. We saw Calais Campbell and him, dabbed it up. It was really kind of cool to see. But now that the practice window is actually starting to open, we're going to now start to see some highlights, right? We're going to see some drills, some different things that he's going to be able to do. So I'm actually really excited to see what he can be in this Arizona Cardinals defense. They can very well use some juice in that middle of that defensive line. Now, like I said, the target date to me is probably going to be maybe after the bye week. I would be very shocked if he actually goes this week in Week 7 versus the Green Bay Packers, but you never know at the end of the day. But I'm going to target maybe the week after our bye week, and that's going to be none other than the Monday Night Football game versus the Dallas Cowboys. And now another massive update here from Jonathan Gannon is that Marvin Harrison Jr., which unfortunately ended up leaving in quarter 2 versus the Colts with a concussion. He was asked today about any updates on Marvin Harrison Jr., and he came out and says that Marvin Harrison Jr. is still in concussion protocol, which he is set to be our wide receiver number 1. As of right now, on our depth chart, we still got Michael Wilson. Zay Jones had a really crazy game in Week 6 versus the Colts. Greg Dortch. So we don't really have a lot of depth when it comes down to the wide receiving core. So it's definitely something we're going to be keeping our eyes on, is if Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be a go versus the Green Bay Packers here in Week 7. Well, it's definitely something we're going to be keeping our eyes on and making sure that he is not ending up on the injury report Thursday and Friday. But as of Wednesday, he is still in concussion protocol. Big topic out there is going to be none other than Kyler Murray. Whenever the media ended up asking Jonathan Gannon if there was any updates or how was Kyler Murray, trending, all he said was yes. That's all he left it as. He just said yes. So as we know, we're not going to be able to see any part of the open practice today. At least that's what the media ended up reporting. The open part of the practice most likely will be on Thursday as well as Friday, so we'll get a better look there. There will be an injury report coming out later on today on Wednesday, and I'm only expecting for Kyler Murray to be most likely limited on the injury report. Now, I'm going to be very, very curious to figure out how he does on Thursday as well as Friday. If he trends to be a full participant, if he continues to be limited, then most likely we probably will see Jacoby Brissett for maybe one more week. And then maybe after the bye week, Kyler Murray does come back after his injury and he's set to start on Monday Night Football versus, the Dallas Cowboys, which he does really good in Dallas. So we'll have to kind of wait and see how that all shakes out. But when Jonathan Gannon was asked today about what he would like to see from Kyler Murray today on if he could potentially be available, in week 7 versus the Green Bay Packers, this is what he had to say. Quote, make sure he's healthy enough to play. We'll progress him along this week and see where he's at. Now, the initial report that we ended up seeing here from Ian Rappaport saying that he has some sort of a Lisfranc injury, which can very well be an injury that can linger. So you definitely don't want to re-aggravate it because it can be something where it could take 2 weeks, 3 weeks to potentially maybe a season-ending, injury. So the Cardinals need to be very, very careful in how they approach this injury when it comes down to Kyler Murray, specifically because he's a mobile quarterback that likes to run out of the pocket and uses his legs and feet a lot to kind of obviously run. So it's definitely going to be something very fascinating to see how the Arizona Cardinals are going to be able to maneuver this injury from Kyler. Are we going to see 100% here in week 7 versus the Green Bay Packers? Well, honestly, I would rather see 100% Jacoby Brissett as opposed to an 80%, Kyler Murray. So the Cardinals, I hope they do the right thing and make sure that Kyler Murray is fully 100% a go before they throw him out on the field and potentially re-aggravate that foot injury. So as of right now, trending in the right direction for Kyler Murray to most likely make his appearance soon. I don't think it's coming this week, if I'm going to be real here, but I can absolutely be wrong. We'll have to kind of wait and see how that all shakes out. A couple other updates that we ended up getting, as well as that Darius Robinson will be practicing today after missing 2 games with a chest injury. So we've all been struggling with the same thing with the whole Darius Robinson situation. We don't exactly know if bust is going to be the label that he's going to be listed off. And I know the term bust is kind of get thrown out there a little loosely when it comes down to it. He is technically in his year 2, but the best thing out there, right? The best ability is availability. And so far, Darius Robinson has not been able to sustain a full season without being injured, right? We saw that last year with the calf injury, the re-aggravation of the calf injury, and now we're dealing with the chest injury. So he missed 2 games already. I'm hoping he's going to be a go here in versus the Green Bay Packers. We can definitely very well use all the defensive linemen we potentially can against this team in the Green Bay Packers. But as of right now, it's just kind of a wait and see type of situation. Now, another update that's kind of going under the radar is that the Garrett Williams situation. Garrett Williams was placed on IR earlier in mid-September with a injury that landed him on the IR. Now, when we were listening to the players, they definitely kind of felt like he was going to be coming back sooner rather than later, probably a 4-week, 5-week situation. But the media ended up asking Jonathan Gannon today about Garrett Williams. He ended up saying this, and I quote, he's doing well. He won't be out there this week, but he's doing well. End quote. So it definitely feels like the Arizona Cardinals are trending into getting healthier and healthier and healthier, most likely towards the bye week. Now, obviously, if the practice window for Garrett Williams hasn't been opened yet, then most likely he will not be playing with 2 days of practice, especially coming off an injury this coming Sunday. But definitely another target for potentially a practice window to open up, maybe next week, and then maybe a start on Monday Night Football as well. So the Cardinals are getting healthier and healthier. Garrett Williams isn't back yet, but Darius is. The 21-day window opened up for Walter Nolan, which means he's coming soon, or at least within 21 days. And now let me explain the 21-day window one more time for the people that are not very familiar with it. The Arizona Cardinals opened up the 21-day window for Walter Nolan today, which means he has 21 days to be elevated to the active roster. If he's not elevated within those 21 days, he has to ride out the IR for the remaining of the season. But with what we've been hearing, Walter Nolan seems to be chomping at the bit to come on the field and help this Arizona Cardinals defense out. So, like I said before, probably targeting a Monday Night Football, debut, but we don't 100% know as of right now, but we're going to be keeping our eyes peeled moving forward. It definitely does suck that most major news that we're getting is all injury updates, but that's just kind of the cards that we've been dealing with as of right now. But ladies and gentlemen, what are your overall thoughts? Let me know here in the comments below. Appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. Have a great rest of your day, and go Cardinals.
In your career, did you have to start trying to figure out how to take the emotion out of coaching as far as, when you have all these injuries and you have all these different pieces, when's the first time that you can recall it?
2007, when our quarterback went to jail.
Coach, thank you.